Femininity is strength.
It's okay to be bold, and it's okay to be authentic, and it's okay to be different. It is okay to target other players that are not necessarily the superstar.
What is it like to paint at a halftime show?
Creativity is endless, and we see it everywhere.
We are back with season 2. It's Lauren Duletsky.
And I'm Jacki G.
And this is the Clack Podcast. Happy Hump Day, Jacki G.
Happy Hump Day, girl.
I know we're not airing this on Hump Day, but I love a Hump Day.
I do too. We're midway through the week, and we're almost through the week, which means we get some rest over the weekend. Can we first off just talk about your shimmery outfit? Because I think it's fire, but I just want to know what it is.
Oh, thanks, Jack.
Looks like a see-through cape.
Anybody that knows me knows that I love fashion. My body is my canvas, from my tattoos to my style. And Zara has been really bringing the fire lately for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving like a little bridal piece.
Oh, bridal. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought it'd be a fun piece for the summer. So for anybody listening, it's kind of like a sheer dress that you wear. I'm like wearing it over jeans with a really cute matching top.
Love it.
But yeah, it's just kind of unique. It was giving me Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah, it's sun's out, guns out.
Sun's out, guns out. This is my first episode where I have nothing covering my arms.
I'm here for it.
They're
you
just
look so great.
Really?
You do.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I love about this woman to my right is she knows how to give flowers.
I do.
Like every time I walk into her house, either her wife or her says the kindest things about me.
But I will say my praise is never perfunctory.
Ooh, I
like that word.
Or
I heard that on a podcast. I forget who said it, but she was like, I'm generally a positive person, but my praise is not perfunctory.
Oof.
So I was like,
that might be like a t-shirt or something. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately about phrases, that they should be on t-shirts.
They should.
I'm manifesting our merchandise.
You are more than your sport.
That's right. I know. Give us a DM if you want us to come out with some merch, because we got a lot of ideas. Okay, but we are going to jump into our favorite section, the drip, because as we always talk about, tons going on in women's sports. You know, we try to keep the themes fairly high level so you can really see the evolution of bigger topics that are happening in women's sports, because right now, we are in the thick of women's sports season.
Yeah.
First thing we want to call out, WNBA tip-off was May 16th. Huge weekend. Mm-hmm. I mean, the games were incredible, the talent. It was so exciting to see the new rookies playing. And also, again, when you talk about the storytelling around not just what's happening, the matchups on the court, but like the tunnel fits. Oh my God.
Insane. So far.
Insane. I mean,
Rickea Jackson, I have to shout her out.
Rickea Jackson, absolutely giving she gladiator.
Iconic. What was that like huge flower she had on her dress? Like, explain what that
she
was.
had a literal like gladiator shield.
Oh, I thought it was like a metal flower on her dress.
I mean, maybe I missaw it, but it was like the most iconic looking piece.
Yeah.
She just looked like a piece of art. She looked beautiful.
Yeah. Some other standouts, Kelsey Plum, she wore this like suit outfit recently.
Fire.
I'm like, I love that she can wear like kind of more of a masculine outfit, but she's so feminine and so beautiful, and she makes it feminine in her own way, you know?
Fire.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, and you know Cam is always she's a showstopper for me always.
She's literally a mic drop every game. Okay, so what are you more excited to watch, the tunnel fits or the games?
That's a hard one, Jack. I mean, I just went on a ramble about how much I love fashion, but I love seeing the tunnel fits because I get to see one side of the players, right? And I get to see their fierce, like their style, their fierceness, their power. And then I love seeing the games themselves because you just see such a different part of them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think we're used to seeing the basketball side to these athletes. And then when you get to watch them in the tunnel fits with their fits expressing themselves in a different way, then you really get to see a little bit of a glimpse of who they are.
Yeah. And that feels more like their individual moment versus when they're on the court. It's it's obviously such a team sport.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it. It's their time to shine.
Yeah, it's like their moment to shine and have that individuality. Yeah. And I love that. And it's such an opportunity for women's sports because so many women express themselves through fashion.
Yeah. And I think these women too, they're investing in styling now as well, and they're taking it to another level and putting their resources into paying stylists to help them and make them look great. And I think that like we're seeing so many awesome like WNBA stylists that are in the space, and they're just like
killing it,
dripping these girls out.
Yeah, because those are going to trickle into the masses, right? Like I'm all Cam Brink wore a mini skirt and thigh-high boots. I need to wear a mini skirt and thigh-high boots. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm almost 37. Girl is not wearing that. But I love that I'm so inspired by her. So
For sure.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. Okay, so moving on into kind of our second drip topic. You know, Jacki recently, I want to give you some flowers for a second. Jacki recently very bravely went out and talked about what it's like to be waved as a player, and got the video itself hit over 1 million views across our channels. And I think because it hit such a deep chord for so many people, and not even just athletes, like people that have experienced, you know, getting fired publicly, or like, you know, just seeing that vulnerability from an athlete who really is seen as such a hero amongst the masses. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about athletes coming out, you know, just talking a little bit about their, you know, personal experiences being an athlete and being like a little more vulnerable on that. I know you had some interesting things to share on that.
No, I think the way you framed that was really great. But I think that transition from college to pros is a bit of a reality check for a lot of players. And I'm speaking just like physically, you know, like on the court. I think that Paige made some comments about the biggest difference for her has been the physicality. And, you know, she got screened in practice and just like the wind knocked out of her. Because everyone is bigger, everyone's stronger, everyone's faster, everyone's quicker. The level just raises, and it's not as easy to kind of, you know, move around and move your body in these spaces because everything is just like, you know, amplified a little bit more. For me, even my transition from college to pros, that was also the hardest thing for me. And I think, you know, it's really telling. I think it's, for me, it's harder for guards than it is for post players because post players are used to banging, you know, and it's...
Can you explain what that means for newbies?
Yeah, so banging, just like they're used to being in the paint and having to wrestle and fight their way, you know, to get position or to get a rebound, or to get, you know, put back, which means like getting the rebound, putting the ball back up. All that to say, you know, guards, they have to be able to handle the ball. They have to be able to get the ball up the court. They have to be able to come off screens. They have to be able to get their shot up, create shots, create for others. So I think it's a little bit harder for a guard. But I think that a lot of these rookies that I've seen so far up until this point, some have surprised me. And, you know, I want to shout out just a couple of the rookies that have really just like been incredible and just kind of made some noise right in the beginning. And that's, for me, Sonia Citron and Kiki Ariafen. I think that, again, it's a hard jump, but they look like they're handling it really well. But I do think it applies to a lot of different things too. Just like even at Nike, when you start off as a coordinating position and then you move up to manager, director, like, you know, it's like everything seems like everything is harder. And then you're also surrounded by people that are at your level, if not higher, you know?
Totally. And you're just faking it till you make it. You start from the bottom and you work your way up.
Yep.
You know, but then in very specific industries like sports, like there's just these very specific levels, right? It's like a sharp difference. Once you get there.
It is. But once you figure it out, once you get in the groove of it, like you're fine. But you just have to adjust to the pace.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. We're gonna move into our third drip, which is just continuing to talk about the women's industries that are moving into women's sports. I mean, to me, that's like why I'm here. Like I truly, truly believe that, you know, the $500 billion beauty industry that exists globally could single-handedly grow women's sports in a way like we've never seen before.
Literally single-handedly.
Single-handedly.
Like, they could be the only partners of the WNBA.
I mean, hands down. And you just think about the consumers they reach, the types of products they can create. Like, it's going to create a whole new industry in beauty, which is very, very exciting. I think the biggest thing for me is I don't want to see these companies just like slap their brand, like white label their brand on the W. I want them to invest in products, in merchandise, in experience, in the full gambit of what it takes to actually engage consumers now, because consumers are more educated than they've ever been when it comes to brands, because there's so much choice out there. And what's going to cut through is no bullshit. It's knowing that they're taking the real insights from what they're learning to apply and make people's lives better. And they're going to connect on a more human level.
I just want to shout out one beauty brand that has been in the WNBA before all the hype started happening. And I believe in 2020, Glossier became a league partner. And that was COVID year, you know, like that was before all of, you know, this stuff started happening. But shout out to them because they've been in it for a minute. They still are.
I mean, yes, we have to give flowers to the ones that came before and deserve those flowers. And I think now it's just like you wake up every morning and there's a new brand that's official provider of whatever. But these franchises, not to mention the W as a whole, as a corporation, right? But these franchises have such an opportunity through these women's brands to really differentiate themselves.
Every time that I've been around a WNBA player on a panel, when they get asked a question of, you know, what brand would you like to be sponsored by, or what category, it's the same answer every time: beauty, 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 beauty. So I feel like that is still something that a lot of these women are missing and wish that they had. And it's like, I love to see the growth, but I still think, like you said, it's a $500 billion industry. Like, what's up?
What's up? I also think fashion, hello. Apparel, hello. Yeah. Like there's just, I mean, there's so many brands, there's so many cool ways to elevate these women and make it feel really authentic, very real. Athletes also convert consumers at a higher rate. Women's athletes do 2 to 3 times higher than a traditional influencer or even a male athlete. So these women are gold mines. Like it truly, like they are in so many ways, like physically, also just from an inspiration standpoint. They're great icons for a lot of these younger girls coming up in the game too.
Absolutely. And I think the authenticity piece too with these women's athletes, and I think women's brands are starting to be okay with women being bold. You know, women, you know, could have a buzz cut or could have, you know, a mohawk, or they could express themselves in whichever ways that they want. And that is seen as like strong and bold, and that's okay. You know, and that's what I love about
it's a spectrum.
Right.
Women's style is a spectrum, as it should be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think that's it. I think that's why I love the W from more of the culture and style side, is like you see the spectrum of athletes and their style. But I do think you've seen a huge difference 10 years ago to today on how these women show up, and like the confidence there of how they show up off the court.
Right.
And I think that's the spark. That's the thing that's going to get more women to be like, I'm here for this, you know? Why do you think it's taken this long for beauty brands to really get on board with the W? Or with women's sports? I'm just curious.
I think because brands typically go for the more feminine woman. And I think in sports, women are seen as like maybe too hard or, you know, more masculine. And I don't think that that is what a brand was looking for. But what I think that they've realized is that it's okay to be bold, and it's okay to be authentic, and it's okay to be different. And I think that's why they're entering this space and, you know, with more of an open mind. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, I think generally money follows attention. Like unfortunately, fortunately, money follows attention. But I don't disagree with you. I do think that, and this is, again, why we exist, why Clack exists, because we're trying to shatter those stereotypes. But I really think it was either you're feminine or you're not. There was no spectrum. Yeah. And now you're seeing athletes being the muse of the future of like Alona Mar, right? We talk about her all the time. You know, Kiki Arif and others that just have such a like intense, competitive, like feel so strong in their sport, but then outside of their sport, they really embrace their femininity. But I personally think femininity is strength. Yeah. And that's why these athletes to me are like, that is the future of beauty, fashion, all these things. And it has such a positive impact for girls. Absolutely. Because it helps them live active lives. It isn't just about, this is what I really want everybody to know from my point of view. It's not just about the professional sports. It's not just about being an athlete. It's about building a relationship with sport so that you live an active lifestyle forever. Because we know the health benefits of being active. It keeps you alive longer. Yeah. You build community. You feel confidence. Like all of these things. This is why sport matters. Yeah. And those two things are intrinsically linked. And so for me, that's what I want people to know and feel when they come to our podcast, when they see us.
And one more thing I would say to beauty brands if they were listening to this podcast would be, don't always target the superstar. Like, it is okay to target other players that are not necessarily the superstar, because they could tell such a cool and unique story. Don't just sponsor athletes based on their following. Sponsor athletes because of their name and their story and other things. And that's like something that I think we see a lot is like, you have like this core group of elite athletes in a league, and they're the ones that have all the sponsors. But there's so many other more incredible athletes and women that I wish like got more of that too.
I think it can be easy to get lazy about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I just want the most reach, the most views, the biggest name.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's those Cinderella stories, the breakthrough moments, the creativity that comes from some of these players that makes people feel more connected.
100%.
Because also some of these players are such big superstars, they start to, I mean, let's be real, they start to lose sight of reality. They're carrying fucking Birkin bags. Like, I love me a Birkin, okay? But it's like, that's not the everyday woman's bag. The everyday woman's bag is like a Coach bag, a Marc Jacobs bag, maybe less than that, a Zara bag. Like, most women can't afford that. And so I do think those layers of storytelling are really important to round out the experience for girls and for women.
Sure, couldn't agree. And shout out to Coach. You mentioned Coach. Coach being a new partner of the WNBA league as well.
Yep.
And they've showed up in a way.
Yeah,
like
for real.
Man, I am so impressed.
Can I just say that I went into a Coach store for the first time in about 10 years.
Oh my gosh. I have been like looking on their website relentlessly.
Okay.
And I didn't realize how nice and how cool their products are.
They have a strawberry bag. It's like a miniature strawberry on their website. And I'm like,
obsessed.
Literally, I'm obsessed with fruit-shaped objects right now. Haley,
we need to get you that strawberry bag.
Coach, if you're listening, I love that strawberry bag. But like we're entering summer and that like fun,
So
fresh.
cute. I could see you with the strawberry bag.
A summer accessory as a fruit. That's what's up.
You're here for that.
I'm here for
that. Would you wear a banana?
It depends on the context.
That's controversial.
It's controversial. So Jack, I know your ass loves the Kardashians.
That I do.
You do. How long have you been watching the Kardashians?
Years upon years.
You know, we talk a lot about beauty and confidence on this podcast. And I believe we both invest in aesthetics. Okay. Feeling confident is in the hands of the individual. No judgment. So Chris just stepped out in Paris looking like you got some new face, girl.
Chris stepped out looking like she was Kim's sister.
Literally, I was like, is
with
that
short hair.
Kim?
Yeah.
So it brought me back to like Lindsay Lohan. Remember when she like all of a sudden emerged, had a new face? Everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening? She has a new face. Yeah, she looks fire.
Just send me the doctor's contact. I was just blown away. I think, look, shout out to Chris. There is not a hatred bone in my body for the way that she looks. I think if you want to make yourself however you did look 20 years younger, like, good for you. I think she looks incredible.
Yeah, for me, it's such a delicate balance because I'm so about confidence and wanting to invest in beauty and make yourself feel like I'm that girl. I'm it, you know? Yeah. So flowers to her. But I also think, you know, when you are aging, there is a relationship for women with oppression and aging. And I think that is what I struggle with generally. Because we know the beauty industry was frankly built on women being told we're not pretty enough, we're not skinny enough, we don't look good, and our skin's not good enough. But we also love it. So it's like this very weird relationship.
I get it.
But so I do, for me, they're like, you know, it's the Kardashians. You expect that from them, right? But I do think I want to make sure that for young girls that as we grow, like you can find that inner confidence and you can find that positive relationship with aging.
Yeah. My perspective on this matter is if you can do it and it makes you happy.
Agreed.
I'm here for it.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we fucking love you, girl. And the Kardashians, if you ever want to talk basketball, this is your girl.
Yeah, and if we ever want to talk beauty, I guess we come to you.
That was one heck of a drip today. How do you feel about it?
I feel great. I think we hit some serious topics and then some unserious topics.
Did we get some layups?
We got some layups and some three-pointers.
Oof. Okay, I love our sports puns. It makes me really happy. I've been thinking a lot about all the people that make the games, like halftime shows. And I came across this unbelievable woman, okay? Yeah. Her name's Annika Wooton. She is a speed painter. So think of someone who is painting large-scale art in under 5 minutes. And she actually just was at one of the WNBA games over the weekend. She went viral for doing a picture of Paige Beckers during the halftime show. And she did it upside down also, which is crazy. So we thought this week we should phone her in for our phone a friend section and just like better understand what is it like to paint at a halftime show.
What is it like to paint at a halftime show fast, number one, and then upside down? Like that is a wild concept to me.
Should we dial her in?
Let's dial her in.
Ding. We have Annika Wooton with us. Annika, are you with us?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to our Phone a Friend section of Clack. We are so honored to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for calling.
Okay, let's start with the beginning. Tell everybody about who you are, what you do, and your connection to women's sports.
Okay, so when I grew up, I always wanted to be an artist, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have any kind of career in sports because I was and still am the most unathletic person that you're ever going to meet. So like that's mind blowing to me every single day. So what I do is called speed painting, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. I paint really fast. The part that's unexpected is that most of the time when I'm painting, it's also upside down. And so most recently, I've been literally center court in the middle of a halftime show, in arenas all across the country, typically painting one of the players of the game in under 5 minutes and in heels. And so I get to travel all over the country doing these kinds of paintings. And it's taken me to like literal arenas that I never would have dreamed of. And it's just so cool that I get to do what I love in this industry.
Tell us, how did you get into painting, but then also add in the speed element of it? Because that, to me, that feels very sport, right? Very performance. So
For sure.
Yeah. So I am very competitive, but not athletic. So like this fits me to a T. But the first time that I did live painting was actually in front of my entire high school. And so one of my mentors in the theater just suggested, like, why don't you paint live on stage? And so the first one that I did was in 8 minutes with no practice. And I don't know if that was foolish or brave.
what was the first moment where you started doing art in an intersection point with sports?
I've been doing live painting for 13 years. And it wasn't until like the last several years that I really started being in the sports arenas. And I think the first one that I did, it was actually at the Citadel College. I was supposed to be painting with their marching band, and it was freezing raining. So the marching band got off the hook, but I did not. So there's literally a video. I'm painting the Statue of Liberty in front of like all of their cadets in freezing rain. That it was honestly one of my favorite performances. It was so much fun. But I mean, where it came from is just like halftimes are always looking for unique entertainers. I mean, we've seen Red Panda do incredible things for an incredible amount of time. And so this is just the next thing that fits that spot.
That's amazing. So do you ever practice before games or before the performance?
I do practice. So when it's a 5 minute time limit, I definitely want to make sure I'm on point, and not miss the final cutoff. When I paint for other events that are a little bit longer than that, I always have a plan, but I don't necessarily practice. So I leave some of that up to the moment. And anything can happen with live painting. So I'm always on my toes, but at least I know where I'm going.
It's like a choreographed dance. That's what it reminds me of. You have to like, what part to do based on like where the song is.
And why do you do it upside down?
So it's twofold. A little bit is the performance piece. I mean, it's so cool to like flip this massive canvas in the air. I'm a relatively small individual, so people don't expect that. And then to hear the crowd like react to that is so cool. But it also goes back to like my art school roots because we were trained to do portraits upside down. It makes you look at shadow and light and shapes instead of like, oh, I'm painting an eyeball and this is what I think an eye looks like. So you actually end up getting a more accurate portrait when you paint upside down, and it's a really fun reveal.
Wow, that is so brilliant. What an inspiration you're going to be for so many young girls who want to do art, but also want to add other elements in like performance and sports and things where people can cheer you on and it becomes like even more than just what's on the canvas. So I just have to say, I'm like such a big fan of what you're doing. And
Same.
I think you could do even more at so many other games and inspire like a tribe of women who could do it with you.
That's like, speed painting is such a niche. I don't expect, droves of women to come do exactly what I do. If they do, that's awesome. But like more than that, just inspiring folks that there are so many untapped possibilities that blend so many different interests. Like you said, like creativity is endless and we see it everywhere. I mean, one thing that I saw at the last game that I was at is that on the back of the jerseys, the names have been moved under the number. And I think it's because girls have long hair. And it's so that we can actually see their names.
That's really cool.
Like, that's a creative that made that decision, and that's like
Yeah.
literally center court. So yeah, anybody who's got a dream to mash up all your interests and put it center stage, center court, go for it.
Well, that's amazing. Everybody has got to go follow Annika Wooton. Follow her on Instagram at Annika Wooton. If you happen to be at Connecticut on August 1st, you've got to go check out the Suns game because Annika is going to be there live, and I might have to buy a ticket.
Me too.
Or I'll have massive FOMO.
One of the two.
One of the two. But Annika, we absolutely love talking with you. Thank you so much for coming on, and just everything you do in art and sports is so cool.
Thank you, Annika.
Thanks for having me.
Damn, that girl was cool as hell.
I know. She just also, her presence on Zoom, I'm like, I could just talk to her for at least another hour.
She was super confident, which like makes sense because you have to be hella confident to be able to go out there and do what she does and perform like in front of so many people on a time limit. Like, she was dope. When I think about a WNBA game, I never even think twice about the halftime show. Like, that's not something that I would even care to watch, but if I knew she was going to be there, I would genuinely care to watch that halftime show. Like, that could bring in, like, other fans just for that alone,
That's
you know?
what's up. Yeah, that's such a good point, Jack. So anyway, Annika, big fans over here.
Yes.
You have Clack fans for life. All right. Well, we're going to move into our last section.
Slam dunks and air balls.
Slam dunks and air balls. Whoop. Jack, why don't you kick us off? What's your slam dunk of the week?
Slam dunk of the week. So I put a little bit of thought into this one, and I'm going to have to go with fashion, and which seems relevant because we spoke a lot about fashion on the drip section today. But for me, I'm going to call this a slam dunk because it's something that I'm not really super comfortable talking about, but I do think it's generally positive. And I've realized since my wedding, I expressed myself at my wedding semi like feminine, okay? And typically I tend to lean more on like the tomboy side of things. That's just where my comfort is. I think as I've gotten a little bit older, and at my wedding I was able to celebrate my style in like a very neutral way. It's opened up my mind a little bit, and I've been a little bit more curious of like wearing more feminine clothing. And again, that's not like, let's not mistake this for like, I'm going full femme here. We're not doing that.
You will not see Jacki in a ball gown.
No, you never will. That will never happen. You'll never catch me in a sundress. You'll never catch me in a dress.
Unless it's Halloween and we decide to dress like each other.
That would actually be funny.
Could you imagine?
That'd be hilarious.
Somebody go mid-journey Jacki in a dress and Lauren in like a full drip, like what Jacki's wearing.
That would be, you would pull it off. Me,
no.
Not happening. Anyways, all this to say, like, I'm excited to kind of celebrate, you know, this a little bit more like feminine side of like how I express myself in clothes.
I mean, I'm really proud of you because I think style is such a spectrum. And I think it's all about what makes you confident. Yeah. And you always look just so beautiful. You look so stunning. Everybody at the Click Clack launch party was like, Jacki in real life is like, I mean, so just iconic and beautiful and has such a presence. So it's really cool that you're kind of like pushing yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Cool. I appreciate the support.
Of course.
But we're not going to do what Carla does where she'll try and like speak to me about it, and she'll have like this like half smirk when she sees me like attempting to wear something like like women's clothing. She'll like, she's so happy on the inside and she's like holding it in. And then I'll look at her and be like, don't get too excited, girl. Like, relax. But it's so funny, like our dynamic right now together with this, because like I even went into her closet, and because like we could fit into the same pants, not the same tops, but the same pants, and she's like, oh no, we're not doing this. We're not about to fuse into each other. We're not going to be wearing each other's clothes. She was like, this is where I draw the line. It's not happening. I was like, you know what? I'm going to squeeze my foot into your shoe. Obviously I won't. My foot's like 10 times bigger than hers, but she was like, oh, I'm so pissed. But it's just like a funny little banter we have.
I wish more than anything I could be on a fly on the wall for that situation. Oh, that was a good one, Jack. I think my slam dunk's a little bit akin to fashion, but it's from a different angle. Yeah. So my daughter stayed home from school. I ended up taking her to go shopping. And we had just a really fun day together. I think it's really important for our kids to feel like they have an identity with what they like and they don't like. So I really try not to push her into things she doesn't like.
Yeah.
So I took this as a moment. We went to Zara Kids, obsessed, too expensive, but so we didn't buy like a ton, but it was really fun to see the things that she gravitated towards.
Yeah.
And guess what was the first thing she did when we got into the store?
I don't know. Tell me.
She wanted to get something for her brother.
Aww.
And I just, that warmed
so
my
sweet.
heart because, you know, Nick and I are always worried about raising entitled kids. And just, I can tell she has such a deep love for her brother, and she often is thinking about him first before herself.
That's so sweet.
And it was very, very
I've
sweet.
actually been paying attention to their dynamic a lot more than usual lately, and they're obsessed with each other.
Yeah, they beat each other up,
Yeah.
but they do really love each other. And so that just really warmed my heart.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was very nice to spend a day with her, to kind of put my computer down, take a beat, and just, you know, do something fun. So
good. I love
really
that for
fun.
you.
Yeah, it was really fun.
You needed that moment, and I feel like hopefully you were able to turn off from work a little bit too.
I tried. I did my best. Yeah. Okay, Jack, airball of the week.
Okay, my airball of the week. When I travel for more than a couple days, if I have to check a bag, okay, and I need multiple outfits, that means I need multiple pairs of shoes.
Oh.
For me, my airball is I've already been ideating on outfits, and I've got my outfits all good, but to have to pick, you know, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes to take with me is literally draining. It drains my life. And
I feel that deeply.
It puts me in a very, very weird place because my shoes are everything to me. And when I have to like choose a few and I have to choose one per outfit. So it's just a thing. It's like a mental mindfuck.
Your shoe game is always so fire. So I can imagine that's kind of stressful. And also
it's extremely stressful.
And you predominantly wear sneakers. So like, you know, my little flats, everybody, here's my little flat of the day, little Zara flat, obsessed.
Super cute.
They're easy to pack,
you
know, so you can kind of stack them.
Yeah, I can't stack mine. My shit takes up half my suitcase.
And sorry, let me be clear, this isn't a flat, it's a kitten heel. My bad.
Oh, say it right.
She doesn't know shit about fashion.
Okay.
That sucks, Jack. That's an airball.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's sort of an airball.
It's just like one of those annoyances.
It's just like lingering in my brain because I know I still have to pack my shoes.
I think a lot of sneakerheads could relate to that, though.
Oh, I know they can. Okay, let's hear yours.
Okay, so I was driving with Haley today, and, you know, I don't know what it's been. Portland drivers have just been whack lately, and I'm like, what's going on?
They're fucking always whack. Coming from California, moving to Portland, why are you driving slow in the fast lane?
Don't even get me started.
I genuinely don't get it, and it gives me massive road rage.
Oh, I'm from Oregon, and people are like, wait, are you from here? Because you have New York energy. I'm like, correct.
Well, just get the fuck over. Like, you're in the fast lane. You're going hella slow. What are you doing? Get over.
Or when trucks are in the fast lane, I'm like,
yeah.
You're dead to me.
Well, they do that a lot here.
I know. It's some bullshit. You know, whenever you have your kids in the car, you're just like more on alert, right? Because it's not you know, you're trying to protect this baby, right? And so all of a sudden I look over at this car, and the person in the driver's seat has the scariest fucking mask on I've ever seen. And I literally screamed.
That's so fucked.
It was so fucked. It looked like the V for Vendetta mask.
Why were they doing that?
Girl, Portland. Who fucking knows?
But I was so annoying.
I literally screamed. I was like, ah! And Haley goes, Mommy, what? And I'm like, oh God, I can't say anything. But it was
Were you screaming and looking at him?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they just like zoomed off it, and I was just like so triggered by that.
That's
I was like,
so scary.
I was like, is there a rebellion coming? What's happening? Like, get out of Portland.
Wait.
It was whack.
Okay.
And that just happened to me like right before I came over here.
That's hella whack. It reminds me, so if you were in the Bay Area and you saw that, that would be the start of a sideshow. And I don't know if you know what a sideshow is, but in the Bay Area, they do these things where you pull up at like a 4-way stop. Okay. And there's like this like gang of people, and they do like these donuts in the intersection. Whoa. And it's a whole thing. They stop traffic. There's backed up traffic that goes. And the cars that are in the front, like, you're very much in danger because you could get hit. Like, they don't care. Like, they're very reckless, and it's really scary.
That's a thing?
And they pull up in, like, masks. Like, it's a real thing. It's called a sideshow.
Oh, my God. Was I going to be in a sideshow?
I don't know, but Carla and I have been in a couple in the Bay together, and she gets super, super anxious. Like, she was freaked out, and I was just sitting there, like, I had my camera out, and I was recording it. Meanwhile, people, like, die at those things in the Bay Area. Like, they really do. It's scary as fuck.
Do the cops get involved?
They can't get in.
Oh, damn. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Then they can like get away.
They can't get in.
Damn.
I know. It's hella crazy. It's it's dangerous for cops too. Like it's just like a whole riot kind of thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I feel like I just learned something very new today. Hey, if someone drives up and they're wearing a mask next to you, maybe you should know, hey, this could be a sideshow. Maybe Jacki just saved your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for, to teach y'all some random shit.
But I feel like I need to go talk to Nick about this right now, so I think we should wrap up. Because I'm actually genuinely very curious to go on a deep Reddit hole about this.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's go.
Like, I'm going to take a break from women's sports to go on Reddit holes about sideshows. That and upside down pineapples.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
We're going to leave it with that.
Let me know what you learned.
Okay, we love you guys.
Love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.